I'm not going to bother naming any realtors, even though I could, and the reason I'm not going to is because they're all conducting themselves deplorably. I'm sure you're all wondering, what did our realtors in my jurisdiction get up to last week? Well, let's check it out. On Sunday, a client retained my services, and a couple hours after he did that, his realtor contacted him and told him that the seller was not going to allow me on the property. Now, there was two realtors involved in that deal, one representing the buyer and one representing the seller, but they were both from the same brokerage. On Monday, I was informed the client had requested my services, but the realtor talked them out of it. Now, this realtor was in dual agency, meaning that they were representing both the buyer and the seller, which makes things 10 times worse. On Friday, a friend from high school had retained my services, only to find out later on in the day that the seller was also denying me access to the property, which makes 2 this week. Now, the realtor was representing both the buyer and the seller, again in dual agency, and that just makes matters 10 times worse. As I'm sure you guys could tell, I was standing on public property for all 3 of those clips while they were being recorded. Now let's get into some text messages so that I can verify for you guys that what I said was accurate. And the first one I'm going to pop up here took place Sunday night at 7:15. Client says, it looks like I have to cancel the inspection of this property. The seller has some sort of issue. Sorry for wasting your time. I responded, it was totally anticipated. It's a certain brokerage listing. You're being manipulated. And I'm going to get into realtors coaching sellers to deny me access here when we get to the third one. So that was the first text message. All right, on to the second text for the second incident. A lady says, hi, I've been watching your videos and a girl from work just told me they had you set up for an inspection, but you lost your rights to do them. I told her, no, the realtor lied to you and watch your videos. I respond, total lie, I'm still 100% accredited. I'm going to put this to bed here right now for all the buyers and all the sellers out there. If your realtor does this, they're lying, and I'm going to provide you guys with some proof. So I'm going to pop up my certificate of insurance that proves that I'm fully accredited and fully insured. And as you guys can see, if you want, you can screenshot it and look through it. But as you can see there, for all you sellers out there that may be concerned, I have $2 million in coverage for commercial general liability per occurrence, which means that, for example, if I was to be in your attic space and I accidentally fell through the ceiling, there would be money there to fix your home and put it back to the way it was. And for all you buyers out there that have any concerns about me being accredited, I am 100% accredited, and for professional liability, errors and omissions, I carry per claim $1 million. So if you guys encounter a realtor out there saying anything in regards to me not being accredited or that I've lost rights, they are flat out lying to you, they are slandering me, and it would be an indication to you to fire them. All right, guys, on to the last text, incident 3. I'm going to pop that message up there now. As you can see, she says, this is a friend of mine actually, and she says, this is so stressful. I got a call from her last night. She's referring to her agent. Apparently the sellers don't want to go with you. The realtor, hands down, coached these sellers to do this. Probably told a bunch of lies, slandered me, whatnot. How do I know that realtors are coaching sellers? Well, back in 2023, they actually started doing this. So for about 2.5, 3 years, they've been coaching sellers to deny me access to properties. One realtor in particular was doing this so often that I just said to myself, there's just no way that she is not having some involvement in this. So what I did is I collected evidence, the text messages from all the properties that I was denied access to over like a 3-month period. And then I filed a complaint with the regulatory body, the realtor's regulatory body. I filed a complaint, sent the evidence in, they assigned an investigator, and then the investigator started calling all of the homeowners, the sellers of those properties that I put in the complaint. Well, the investigator determined that not only was the realtor, that one particular realtor, coaching sellers to deny me access, in some instances, the sellers didn't even know who I was, which means that that particular realtor was actually just doing it on her own. Now, I'm sure you're all sitting there going, wow, she must have gotten in a lot of trouble. And in fact, in my complaint, I said, if this is true, which they determined it was, that she should lose her license for the rest of her life. She got nothing more than a slap on her wrist. Okay, and the reason that is because the realtor's regulatory body is made up of realtors and brokers themselves. And so the industry is self-regulated. The people that legislate law in your province or state for the real estate industry are realtors and brokers themselves. Okay, it's one big racket, you guys. All right, guys, just to put the finishing touches here on episode 7, everything that I talked about here in this video took place in a matter of 5 days. And I got to be honest with all of you, these realtors aren't hurting me anymore. They're hurting themselves. And that's because I have every nickel, dime, quarter, and dollar that I need to make it to end of life. Okay? And everything that they have done is hurting themselves now because I don't need the money anymore. They're hurting themselves because they keep doing this stuff. members of the public and clients keep reporting back to me that they're doing this stuff, and then I create a video to teach all of you about their deplorable actions. You know, in a matter of 7 episodes over the last month or so, I've educated all of you in regards to realtors holding back listings on new sellers so that realtors can put more money in their pocket, double-ending their commission. I've taught you about them steering you away from private sales. I've taught you about insider trading. I've taught you about steering buyers and sellers towards certain service providers, home inspectors, mortgage brokers, you name it. I've taught you about collusion. And now I'm teaching you guys today about them denying a certain specific home inspector who has 13 years in the industry, performed over 3,500 inspections. They're denying me access to properties. This is their final way of keeping me away from clients. Just deplorable actions. I want to leave you guys with something here. In my time in the real estate industry, I have noticed that realtors can be manipulative, spiteful, intellectually incompetent, corrupt, and spineless. And they are not strong people. And I know this because strong people do not take advantage of naive and gullible consumers. Strong people do exactly the opposite. Strong people look out for naive and gullible consumers, which is exactly why I am doing these videos. So I hope you guys really enjoyed episode 7. As always, knowledge is power, and hopefully episode 8 later on this week.